How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Movie Talk. So, before I start this review, I just want to say there's some minor spoilers about this episode in the video. Nothing too much. I mean, if you don't want to get spoiled at all, just don't watch the video and watch the show first and then come back to the video if you want. But it's really not that much. I just talk about some characters that show up and some little stuff that they do. So again, it's minus spoilers. It's not like I'm going to give away everything that happens in the show, but I just want to point that out because I don't want to just spoil or ruin something for someone if they haven't seen the episode yet. Which, by the way, go watch the episode because I am loving this show. So now with the review itself, I really think this was a nice change of pace from what's been going on with the season so far. So like I've been talking about like just how like brutal and traumatizing this show has been. And I think this episode, it's a nice little change up of what's going on, a little change of pace. So with this episode, it's far more sillier and funnier than usual. Like there's some like especially what Frenchie says sometimes. He has some like really great jokes. Like I don't want to give them away because they were honestly they were so hilarious. I really like this episode, but I do have my complaints. It's not a great episode. It's a very good episode, but it's just one tier under the great category. Let's just get the negatives out of the way. I felt the storyline kind of was stagnant. Like the main like overall storyline, not like a lot of the side plots going on, which I'll get into those later. But I'm talking about like the main story right now. It kind of like throughout the season it was going at a rapid pace. And then now this episode it just kind of like stood still. Like I didn't really feel like we got very far into what was going on. Like it just kind of felt like I was wasting my time at times because there's nothing really happening with Homelander. Like I want to talk about that. Homelander was barely in this episode, and it's not a problem if he's not like the main point, like the one of the main plots is about him. But like he just didn't do anything in the episode. And what I love so much about Homelander is just how terrifying he is, and like you never know what he's gonna do next. And definitely he has his moments, but like it just felt mediocre. It didn't feel like I was actually like really seeing something great going on with this character. But I mean, he's easily the best part of the show, and just not him being in it was disappointing. I mean, it's not like it ruined the episode. It was still a very good episode. It was just a complaint that I had that I just want to see more of him because that's what I look forward to every week. Like I'd say that lightly. It's like okay, it's like watching a horror movie. You're excited about it, but you know you're gonna get scared from it, and so like it's this weird relationship that it has where like I want to see more of it but I'm terrified once I actually start seeing it. It's honestly that's a good analogy of it. Just Homeland, it just feels like a horror movie where like it's going to be scary and you fully have to prepare yourself for it, but like once it starts happening like you never like fully get yourself like prepared for what you're about to experience. That's just what I think of it at least. Now, another complaint I've had with the show is Hughie and his dad's storyline. I felt it was just dragging out each episode and it wasn't really adding a whole lot. Now, like I said, minor spoilers, so just remember, he does wake up, which you do see in the last episode, episode 4. You do see that. But he actually like fully wakes up and does some stuff, and he has some really nice moments too. Like there's some like really great moments with Hughie and his dad and his mom, like both just like reconnecting. It felt like really wholesome. Like I said, like this episode is like much less intense than the other episodes, and I think it was very easy that you could have made it too not intense to the point like it just didn't feel like a proper episode of The Boys. But I felt like they perfectly balanced with the just happy normal stuff that was going on with some insanely brutal stuff. And trust me, there's some brutality in this show. But I was really happy where they went with the storyline with his dad. I'm really curious what more they're gonna do with it because it's in an interesting direction. I'm very curious what's gonna happen with it. The other main side plot going on right now, Hughie and Colin. I should talk about something. I haven't talked about it a whole lot in previous reviews, but I think Colin's character is very just meh. He's not really a great character to like compared to like everyone else, and so like I just get far less interested. I am interested in what they're doing with his character, with Frenchie's character, but I feel like Colin is just a boring person to experience his storyline with. I am curious though what Frenchie eventually does, because you see what he does at the end of episode 4. Oh no, episode 5, sorry. The end of this episode. And I'm really interested what he is going to be doing with the rest of the season, because I don't know. I really have no idea where they're going with this character. I'm very interested though. Especially with like what's going on with Kamiko, which I love Kamiko so much. She's so she's a character that gives me a smile on my face. Like she's just like so strangely like wholesome at times, and like she just feels like the most one like I wouldn't say the most normal character, but like she just feels like just a normal person compared to like, even though like she's one of the people with superpowers and there's a lot of other just normal people walking around in the show. Like I love what she does every single episode. Kamiko can do no wrong. I just say that right now. Kamiko cannot do any wrong. I know for a fact that's gonna bite me in the ass later on in the series. Oh god, I jinxed myself, didn't I? So again, like I said, minor spoilers, but I feel like anyone who doesn't want to see the minor spoilers has already left. But Giancarlo Esposito, I am so happy that he's back. I love the character of Stan Edgar so much because like he was really the OG who stood up against Homelander back in season 1. Like he like even back then when like everyone was terrified of him, there wasn't a single soul who stood up against him. Just seeing him be such a cool badass just talking to Homelander, I loved his character so much. I really love what he's doing, and I was so happy it wasn't going to be a one episode thing. It looks like he's going to be a main character for the rest of the series, at least unless something bad happens to him, which I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. But I am really happy to see that he's back because I love what he did in this episode. I think Giancarlo Esposito is truly such a phenomenal actor. And I know the complaints. People love to complain that he plays the same character over and over again in every single thing that he does. And to that, I say, he's fantastic at that character. Why stop him? I can eat up that form of character all day long. I love that type of character that he does, that he did in Breaking Bad, that like he's now doing in The Boys. Like I am eating it up, and I don't want it to stop. Another actor, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, his character with Butcher, I am really curious if he's finally going to be able to do something in this show, because so far he's sat there, talked to Butcher, insulted him a few times. That's about it. Hasn't really done a whole lot of interesting stuff. And so I'm hoping with this, with the ending of episode 5, that he can finally actually start doing something interesting, because he's done nothing interesting this entire show so far, and it's kind of been a bit of a disappointment. So I'm hoping maybe episode 6 he finally does something cool. But I just want to say one final thing before I wrap up this review. The ending music. Oh, I don't know how they keep on doing it. They somehow keep on finding better and better songs to play over the end credits, because it's so perfect. It is so beautifully done. And I'm not going to tell you what song they play, but please watch this episode just for the end credits if you really have to, because I had the biggest burst of laughter that I have probably had this entire series from the end credits music. Please, it is so brilliantly done. I loved it so much. Like, go watch this episode just for that if you really have to. But I mean, overall, I really liked the episode. I thought it was still brutal at times. There was some horrifying things that happened to people in the show. truly terrible things. But at the same time, like it's also like really silly at the same time. And it kind of found like that perfect balance where like it perfectly balanced the brutality of the show while also having some really great moments in it, like funny moments, wholesome moments, genuine moments, like all that kind of stuff. I really like this episode. Again, not a great episode because I definitely had my fair share of complaints about it. But I mean, they're all minor complaints, really. This show is just like doing such a good job at just being so perfect. I love everything that they're doing, and I really cannot wait to just I can't wait to see what happens next week because that's the hardest part about the show is having to wait a week. But I also love it at the same time because it's constantly on my mind compared to if they just dropped it all at once and it just I watched it all in a day or two and that was it. I love that I'm spending months with this show. I can't wait to see what they do next. But yeah, that's my review of The Boys Season 4, Episode 5. I mean, what did you think? Comment down below what your thoughts were for the show. Did you agree with me? Disagree with me? Tell me everything you think. And that's really all I have to say. So, movie talk. See ya.